Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsey from Lottie Albert, and today I have for you a podcast where I'm going to be catching you up on what I've been making, works in progresses, some finished objects and also some new things. And it's going to be all about crochet. So if you're new to my channel, then a very warm welcome. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, I would love for you to consider subscribing. I post a new crochet video every week, and it's either a podcast like today or tutorials or some other little sort of craft with me videos thrown in there as well. And if you're a returning viewer and you already know the score, then thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me today. I hope you have a project to work on, maybe a cup of tea, and you can join me and enjoy some pure yarny crochet chat. I think this week I'm going to start by talking about works in progress, because I have a couple of new things and I've made some progress on something I've talked about before, but I also have about 3, maybe 4 finished objects. So I will talk about those as well, and then at the end I'm going to do a little bit of a book review of this gorgeous book, Romantic Crochet, which is the new Lulu Loves book, which is very exciting. So let's get started. So the first work in progress I want to share with you is a new one, and it's in this pretty little project bag here. This was made by the Little Grey Girl, and it's a really cute little triangle shape, look, and the zips on the front. And inside here is some yarn that I have had for around 3 years now, and it is all Christmassy colours in sort of traditional red and greens. It is a hand-dyed yarn, as you can see with my Christmassy nails, and these were dyed by the gorgeous Vicky Brown Designs, Vix Brown. She's actually a local yarn dyer to me. She lives just round the corner, I guess. She's in Cheltenham. And yeah, I bought these at Yarndale, and so I've only been to Yarndale once, and it was about 3 years ago, so that's an indication of how long I've had these little gorgeous balls on the go. I have tried making, I bought them with the intention of making some Christmas crochet socks, and I promise you I have started making a pair of Christmas crochet socks every year since. But it's just never felt quite right, or I think what I probably did was I bought too many different ones. So I also actually have another bright green, which isn't figured, which isn't here. I'm not showing it. But this year, I think I finally cracked it. I finally found a pattern that is working for me, and I'm enjoying, and I'm doing it as a sort of scrappy sock, because these are all 25-gram balls. So I actually have quite a bit of yarn. I have enough, but here is one sock. And I've made this up quite quickly for me. So I started it a couple of evenings ago, and this is sort of like one evening, one nap time, and then my husband had the day off yesterday, so he also did the school run, and Friday is technically my day off. But I do always feel the pressure to work during nap times, and by work I mean work on one of my patterns or work on my book, which to be honest I should be doing because it's due next month. And I thought, you know what, no, I'm just gonna work on a me project. So I worked on my Christmas scrappy sock. So I don't know where you can see, I've pretty much just worked a different colour every 4 rows, and this sock pattern, I have one sock and one start of a sock, and I have gone for a different toe colour. Does that stress you out, or do you quite like it? I thought, do you know what, as they're scrappy, why not? So I'm going to do the toe and the heel for this one in this mint green, whereas on this one I've done it in the brighter red. And I was hoping to do a row of brighter red here as well. I just wanted to double check I had enough. The pattern is also by Vicky Brown, and there's something very satisfying, is they're not about working on a pattern using the yarn by the same maker. It feels right. It feels right to me. So yeah, that's my first work in progress, my scrappy socks. I think I'm going to have quite a lot of yarn left over, which is sort of a good thing because yarn. But I was kind of hoping to use it up because I've just bought some new indie dyed yarn, actually from another maker who's quite local to me, James, and that's gonna be arriving soon. So that was kind of the impetus to work on these, because yeah, I wanted to justify my new purchase to myself. So that's my first work in progress. Let me know, do you like the scrappy look? It's not my normal colour palette, is it? But it's Christmas, so I feel like these are gonna get a lot of use over Christmas. If you haven't made crochet socks before, I definitely recommend it. I have made a couple of pairs in my time, and I think because of the nature of crochet, these are made using sort of 4-ply, so they're not clunky. They're like, you know, this is a sock yarn, but I think they are slightly thicker just because of the way a crochet works up as a fabric than if you were to knit a sock. So I don't tend to wear these outside under shoes, although I think if I was going for like a winter walk or something, that would be okay. I tend to just wear them around the house, like slipper socks or slippers, I guess. But yeah, they're just a bit of fun, and when you've got pretty yarn on your feet and you glance down and it reminds you, it just cheers me up. I like crochet socks, and yeah, like I said, this worked up quite quickly. So let me know what you think about my Christmas socks. Is anybody else making any Christmas jumpers or socks or anything? It's that time of year, isn't it? I feel a bit strange about Christmas because, what have I dropped? Okay. I've been working on Christmas projects since about August, even maybe July. Now that it's actually Christmas, it's taken me a while to like get my head around it, because it's been pretend Christmas for me for so long. But I'm excited now, I'm feeling it, but I've also been feeling the pressure a little bit. I think because everybody's been decorating a little bit earlier, in some ways that's been really nice, because it's something joyful and something nice to look forward to. But I've also kind of felt like, oh gosh, I haven't got my Christmas presents ready, I haven't bought for everybody, and lots of other people online seem very prepared, but maybe that's just the veil of social media and people appearing like they've got their stuff together more than they actually have. Let me know. Oh gosh, don't let me know, because I imagine you guys are all really prepared and completely ready for Christmas. My second finished object, not a finished object, my second work in progress I wanted to show you is my travelling Afghan project. And if you have been watching my podcast for a little while, you will know I have been working on this all year actually, but that I got a little bit behind recently and I hadn't made many new squares. Well, I had a little bit of a making session over the last couple of weeks. I've been sort of focusing on it. So I had sort of 8 joined together as a blanket, and I had a couple more like the alpine stitch one that I had showed you. This one is still half finished because that was giving me a little bit of a headache, so I've been putting off working on that one whilst I've been tired in the evenings, which is when I tend to work on this blanket. But I have made another 1, 2, 3.5 squares, which, as I said, if you have been watching, that is pretty good progress for me. So I'm going to try and remember the designers and the squares. If you are watching for the first time, the Travelling Afghan was supposed to be a year-long crochet along, and so every 2 weeks a new square is released by a new designer, and then the Afghan actually has been travelling. I was designer number 4, so when I joined my square on, there were only 4 squares, but now it's up to square number 25, so it has been posted from America to Europe to the UK to Canada, back to America again. So the blanket, I think it's kind of amazing that it hasn't got lost in the post, particularly given the pandemic and how everybody's postal systems have been this year, but it has literally travelled all around the world, and every time it's reached a new designer, they've added a new square on, and then they have released the pattern so that you at home can make yours too. They're all free patterns. If you wanted to go back and make it, you can find all the details. I'll put them in my description box below, but basically you have to visit each different designer's website for each pattern. and I've made some more. I'm in no way caught up, and I don't know if I'm going to finish by the end of the year when everybody else is finishing, but that's okay. I am going to keep going on it because I've really enjoyed it. This square is a really pretty one, and this is actually, I think this was maybe square number 3 or number 5, and I don't really know why I didn't make it. I just hadn't got round to making this one, but I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the different, I like it when things sort of start as one shape and then turn into something else, and then it gets squared off. I find them quite fun to make, and the beauty of these is they're all quite quick. You can sort of whip them up in under an hour. So in theory, if you wanted to make one, you could probably make one every, what's the date today? Yeah, you could make one every day for the next 25 days and be finished by the end of the year, and that would be a much quicker way of doing it than all of us who've been making since January. But I'll put the designer's name on the screen because I think this is the Mama DIY Patterns square, but I'll let you know. So that's a really pretty one. I really like that one. What else do I have under my arm? This one. Have I shown you this one before? They all start to slightly blur together in the end. That was a really nice one. That worked up quite quickly as well. A pretty granny square one. I'm currently working on this one, which I think is the Sorella Square. So that one is using a slightly darker pink yarn that I haven't, it's only slightly darker pink yarn that I haven't used before. I made the decision to use a couple of different yarns in my blanket, although the main blanket uses just one colour, and the sort of general idea is they're all quite textured stitches, so you know, when it's a single colour, it's looking quite bright, there we go. When it's a single colour, the patterns sort of speak for themselves, but I was worried I wasn't going to have enough of my pink yarn, so I've introduced a few other colours as well. So yeah, I think this was Sorella's square. This was a really simple one, working up quite quickly. I only started it the other evening, so I haven't finished it because my socks have taken over. So can I count the 2 halves as a whole? 2 half squares. And then this one, which was the TL Yarn Crafts square. I really enjoyed this one. This is, will it focus? There we go. This is like a bobble stitch, and her square was one solid colour. I decided to use 2 colours. I just love this tweed yarn. It just speaks to me. I know it's just like an oatmeal with a bit of a black fleck, but I just really love it. I decided to use 2 different colours, and so as a result, because I carried this pink yarn inside the stitches of the sort of oatmeal colour, the square has come out slightly bigger, but I think it's okay. It's not crazy bigger. Let's compare to this one. You know, actually it's minimal, so I think once these are kind of blocked out, if I bother to block them, it'll be fine. My only, it's not even really a criticism, but my only slight niggle with this project is, now bear with me and maybe this will come across as really harsh, but most of these designers, and I am like honoured to be among them because I was asked to take part in as be one of the designers as well, I suppose nobody knows how do you term successful, but like from the outside looking in, they're all successful crochet and knitwear designers, and a lot of them are very prolific, so they're designing patterns, whether they're free patterns for their blogs or paid for patterns, and they're people who've been doing it quite a long time, and they're sort of like big names in the industry, I guess, a lot of the people who've taken part. And on their websites, and tell me if this bugs you too, on the one hand, I feel like probably I should be doing it because, as I said, these are all really successful designers and they know what they're doing. They probably know how to make some money from what they're doing. On most of the people's websites that I have visited to get these patterns, they have a lot of adverts. And I get it, because the craft industry is not particularly well paid. The yarn industry is not particularly well paid. We all have to make money where we can. Fair game. and a lot of the designers are offering patterns for free. So if they're offering patterns for free, they're not being paid by yarn companies, they're not being paid by us who are buying their patterns. So by putting ads on their website, I think for a lot of people is their main revenue and the main way that they make money off their patterns, because if they put up a free pattern and it's really popular, people are going to go to their website, they're going to get a lot of foot traffic on their website, and therefore the ads are going to perform even better. And some people, they just have a little box below, you know, you're scrolling, you might see one ad. Some people, it's intense and videos are popping up left, right and centre. You've got pictures of the pattern, and then you've got, and I'm not saying that TL Yarn Crafts is one of the worst, because I feel like her ads were fairly like medium, middle of the road compared to like some people's websites. It has put me off to the point that I would be very hesitant to return to their website even if there was a free pattern on there that I wanted to make, because it just gives me a headache and I don't find it very enjoyable as an experience. Am I being a sensitive flower? Because they're providing a free pattern, they're providing a service, and I want them to be able to make money, and ads are a way for them to be able to make money. So I'm on board with it in theory. It's not the fact that the ad is there that's upsetting me. It's more the like a visual experience of like when you're scrolling through a website and you're just trying to read a pattern and there's like stuff popping up at you left, right and centre. And like I said, some people's are fine, some people's are like okay, and some people's are like oh my gosh. It's hard to even see. Sometimes people have got like pictures of themselves wearing the pattern and then pictures of like anoraks that are for sale, and they feel like they're almost like, it's hard to see where one stops and the other starts. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you not mind if you're getting a free pattern out of it? You know, fair enough, people are going to make a bit of ad revenue. It doesn't cost us anything, does it? And at least they're getting some money for it. Or do you sometimes find some websites are a bit much? Let me know what you think. So that is 4.5 more squares to add to my travelling Afghan. I think I'll finish up those halfy squares and then will I have 2 more rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6 more, 7? 6 more to add on. So I might try and get it up to 8 and then I can add another 2 rows to my travelling Afghan. So moving on to finished objects, and the first one I want to mention to you is a Christmassy one. I'm just going to get you the yarn. You will have seen this yarn before if you've watched the podcast before. This is a gorgeous stack of Wool and the Gang Feeling Good yarn, and I actually was sent a bundle of this when I was doing some work for Wool and the Gang, and when I did a live takeover stitch, what's it called, a stitch, am I in focus? Their stitch school, or Sunday stitch school, they used to do, I think they might still do it, like a little live on a Sunday, and they'd get a different person on to talk about a different technique or show you how to make something. So they sent me a little bundle because the pattern that I was making for them used this yarn, so it was gifted. I was then approached by Molly Makes, who, if you don't know, I used to work for about 3 years until very recently as their commissioning editor, to see if I would do a project for the magazine. So of course I said yes, and it was really lovely to be able to work with my old team on a project. It was a bit bittersweet because it felt a bit sad in a way that I wasn't on the other side of the commissioning, but I got to make an advent calendar and I had pretty much free reign on the design, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I will pop it on the screen so that you can see, because I don't have the finished object here. And it is a scallop advent calendar. Now I really love this trend in interiors and I really wanted to try and use it in crochet in some way, so I'm pleased that I was able to for this project, and I used this lovely bundle of yarn to make it. People have since made it using other Aran weight yarn, but yeah, look at these colours. I actually didn't use the pale pink. I said to Molly Makes, what would you like, pale pink or bright pink? And they said bright pink, of course. which I think was the right decision. I definitely think it made for a better calendar. Let me know what you think. And that pattern was in issue 1, 2, 3, which I think has just gone off sale. But if you wanted to make it, I know it's December now, so maybe you don't, but the idea behind it is it's you could use it as storage all year round. So we didn't put any numbers or anything on it, with the view that you could use it to store sort of little threads or mini balls of yarn or whatever you fancied the rest of the year as well. So it's not too seasonal specific. So it was an issue 1, 2, 3. I don't think you can find that issue now on the newsstand, but you can get it as a digital edition, or you can also get it on one of those sort of digital e-readers as a back issue. So I'll put the links below if anybody wants to go and check that one out. I also, talking of Christmas projects, in my finished objects section, made this Christmassy wreath. Now, it's not made of wool, it's not crochet, it's made of felt. But I'm so pleased with it, I'm going to show you guys anyway. So if I give you a little closer, I'm just going to block my face out in the hope that it focuses. You can see it uses 2 different colours of green felt. It also uses white, and then on these oranges, I've done some embroidery. I haven't made something with felt for the longest time. And now that I have, I'm questioning why, because it is such a forgiving material to make with, isn't it? Like, you can see why they use it so much in primary schools and kids schools, because it's just so easy. You don't have to do any prep, you don't have to, like, the edges never fray. Here I am in the middle of my wreath. It's just so easy to work with, and the embroidery did take a little bit longer. But I really enjoyed doing it as a kind of slow stitching in front of the TV. These little gold bits here. I also put a little gold cross on these berries. I'll show you the back because this is where all the messy bit is. And then this is the front. So yeah, that's another finished object. I made this as part of one of my designs for the craft subscription box that I'm a designer for. They're called Craftiosity. I do often share the projects on here that I make for that box because that's what I've been working on, and it's one of my main things I tend to do each month. So this kit I think has just gone off sale. This is the kit that people who are subscribed to the box will get as their December box, so they can make it in the month of December. So it's, yeah, we wanted to make it Christmassy, but not to be like overly red and green. So yeah, I've seen lots of actual dried orange slices crafts this year, like people making bunting and all the rest of it, like lots of stuff going on. So yeah, that's those. And then also an old project I've been working on that has since been published. I only have the swatches for. As you can see, it's not crochet, it's knit. And I will put the finished picture in here of what it is that I made. And I made a family of knit bobble hats. This was for Hobbycraft, and they are selling it as one of their patterns. So I think you can get this as a digital pattern, possibly also as a printed pattern in store. If you're interested, I will put the link below and you can go and check it out. But I wanted to mention this because when I was first asked to do it, I had a little bit of a imposter syndrome moment where I was like, oh, I don't do knit designs typically to sell. But I thought, you know what, I can knit and I know how to grade, so I know how to work out the different sizes for the hat. So I was like, why not? I'll do it. And it was back in August that I made them. I taught myself the bobble stitch and then incorporated that in the design, and yeah, I'm really pleased with how they came out. I still get a little bit panicked that people might be like, why has she done a knit design? But Hobbycraft seemed to be pleased with them, and I shared them on my Instagram actually with a little bit of a, like I just said about my imposter syndrome, and they had a really good response. So I thought I'd include them and let me know what you guys think. I quite like my little swatches of these. What can I do with them? And then finally, another thing I'm counting as my finished object, which you might have seen if you caught my last video last Sunday, was I did a little tutorial for how to make these sweet little crochet stars, and then how to join them together in a garland. So one of the things that I want to do a little bit more of now that I am working on Lottie Albert full-time, you know, part-time but full-time, is do some tutorial videos. So I did a little live video actually for a company on Instagram and showed how to make these crochet stars, and everybody over on my Instagram loved them so much I thought I would turn it into a proper video and put it here on YouTube as well. So if you're looking for some little decorations, or you fancy making a little garland for your tree, then it's the previous video before this one, and you can go and you can make along with me. And I go very slowly in this video because I wanted it to be accessible for beginners. And here's another little one that I made up. These are all a little bit closer together in different colours that you can see. So that's another finished object, and maybe a video that you might want to go back and check out if you fancy making some quick little stars. They work up really quickly. If you are a bit more experienced and you are finding the video a bit slow, I've also put the pattern in the comments on the video, so you can just go straight to the pattern. It's a very short pattern. Essentially the stars are 5-pointed and each point is the same, so it's a sort of repeat around a central ring. It's really quick and speedy to make up if you fancy making any. And then I think that is pretty much it for my finished objects. So I'm going to quickly show you a new thing that I have been kindly sent, which is this gorgeous book, and it is by Lulu Loves, also known as Emma. And I have mentioned her before on here, I know I have, because she also does a podcast very similar to this where she talks about what she has been making and working on. So if you like mine, definitely go and check her out, because I think you will really love hers as well. And yeah, she's an awesome designer. She specialises, I would say, pretty much in what this book says, so like romantic crochet. She makes a lot of flowers and quite pretty designs. I'd say, like, you know, sort of like modern country chic, shall we say that? And this is her book, which honestly is amazing. Not least because she has done all of the photography herself, and it's just really beautiful. So this is sort of an example of one of the projects, a little hot water bottle. She's got a real range in there. So she's got, oh, these are really sweet, floral face cloths and cleansing pads. What else have we got in here? A sweet little collar. She's got cushions, she's got blankets, she's got a really nice mix of some quicker projects and some longer projects. I think probably one of the stars of the show is this blanket, because it is gorgeous, and also I think this probably really epitomises Emma's style quite well. I feel like I'm just going to hold it here for a minute and see if it focuses. I can't see because the book's in the way, but I'm hoping that it is. So yeah, this is Romantic Crochet, 20 Beautiful Crochet Projects with Natural Colours. It's by Emma Escott, otherwise known as Lulu Loves, and I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a book for yourself, or as a gift, or also if you're looking for anything to make as gifts. I think there's some really nice projects in here, or if you're looking for some little things to make and sell, things like the face wipes and the gloves, and some of the shawls and collars would work up really quickly. So I think they would make a nice, I should probably check that you had to have permission to do that from her book, because it's a book, it might not be. Maybe just ignore that I said that a little bit, but I really recommend the book. It's a gorgeous book, and I really recommend Emma. Everything she makes and does on Instagram and YouTube is legit really good. So I'm also going to be taking part in her book tour on the 7th of December. when will this go out? So this, I think that'll be the day after this goes out. So you can head over to my Instagram if you want to see what I have chosen to make from the book. And yeah, I think that is pretty much all I have to say on the matter. I have actually kept a few things back this episode because I had so much to share. So I have another book that I want to share with you and a few other things I've been working on. So hopefully there will be a new podcast very soon. I think next week I'm going to do more of a come craft with me video. So it's a new style of video I'd quite like to try and maybe do one a month. And a little bit like, hopefully when you watch these, you can have a cup of tea and work on your project and just, you know, have me wittering away in the background. But they're going to be a little bit broader, so I'm going to do a little bit of sewing, a little bit of house decorating, like seasonally, things like that. So yeah, come craft with me. That will be my next video, but I have more stuff to share with you in a podcast very soon, so that will probably be in 2 weeks time. So I really hope you have enjoyed watching. Thank you so much if you are still here and watching right to the end. I'd really love to have you as a subscriber if you are not already, and you can subscribe by hitting the subscribe button and also the bell if you want to get notified when I do new videos. And if you wanted to leave a comment or give me a thumbs up, that would also be massively appreciated because it really helps spread the crochet love and get my video out there for other people, other like-minded yarny folk like us who might enjoy listening to me witter on. So thank you so much, and I will see you all back here next week with another video. I hope you all have a lovely start to the month of December and that you are feeling seasonal and not too stressed about Christmas. Okay, see you guys all really soon. Bye!